Listen, good evening. Can you hear me?
Good evening. I can hear you loud and clear. Can you hear
Very
me?
good. Very good. All right. How are you?
A little bit tired and exhausted. It's been quite the last couple of weeks.
I can imagine. I can imagine. Man. Wow.
What
But
whatever you do, don't try to build a political party in Jamaica.
I'm going to take that from you. See, I think it would be easier to join one than build
Yeah,
one. That's why
absolutely,
I
absolutely,
totally applaud you.
absolutely,
And that's why in our initial conversation, I said, man, I wonder if you realize, but I knew it's a book, it's a book, it's a story, it's a movie, it's all in the
absolutely,
making, and you're living it real time, which is great. But like you say, you can be tired and frustrated, and I just
absolutely.
feel like though we all are put in a spot in time for a reason,
Yeah,
and the blessing you have is you may just have found your reason, and so you will always find a reason to support your reason. And that's why you're here tonight, because you need to
absolutely.
help us understand what's going on, and clarify and help us interpret and understand what's happening. Um,
Mhm.
for those who might not know, let's start with a quick overview of your party and what you're trying to achieve there in Jamaica.
Sure. So the UIC is unlike any other political party in Jamaica in that we have a mandate to create a non-partisan constitutional republic, which is far different from the parliamentary monarchical system that we have here. So we're about completely removing Jamaica from the colonial past and giving Jamaica a true republic that will protect the sovereignty of every Jamaican and provide them with the space, the skills, the structures, the empowerment that Jamaicans need to achieve their full potential. And so the UIC has embarked on this journey. It reflects a vision that was developed over the last 10 years with me and my wife and a number of other persons who have come and gone and who are here today and we've built to this point. So it's an amazing journey. And little by little, we have drawn the attention of the Jamaican people and have won the support of persons here at home and abroad.
And the UIC stands for what? United Independent Congress?
Yeah, United Independence Congress, meaning bringing together independent thinkers to unite in forming a Congress instead of a party. As you know, we're a party because the system as it is says you need to be a party if you're going to contest elections and form the government as such. But we're a Congress. We come together as independent thinkers working towards some key objectives. Our solid mission, or vision rather, is to create a Jamaica that brings out the best in all its people. And our mission is to create a non-partisan constitutional republic that protects the life, liberty, and property rights of all Jamaicans equally. And our values are surrounding equal opportunity, equal rights, and equal justice for all.
That's right. Well, we're streaming live right now on 8 online platforms: YouTube,
Mm,
Facebook, and thewayneallshow.com. And
yeah,
so the message tonight, well, we spoke, you laid out your plans, it was great, but something has happened. Something has happened. And you're here tonight to help us understand what has happened and also share some of what's going on, what's on the agenda in the short and medium term for
yeah.
your party.
So recently, you would have seen on social media, YouTube stories of a bit of a conflict inside the political movement called the UIC. Now, it is normal. In fact, I expected it. I didn't know when this would happen or how it would happen. But it is normal that as we become more and more successful, we're going to undergo various attacks from the outside and from the inside of the movement. So the latest one was on the inside of the movement, where we had what I described as a coup attempt, where a number of persons attempted to character assassinate me in order to eliminate me from the movement that I've worked so hard to create. Now, there are confluence of issues that would bring this about. You have persons who were upset because of my leadership style. I'm very demanding. I require of people that if you have a position, you actually perform in it. And so every time we do a project, we have an assessment of that project. We look at what went right, what went wrong, and who was responsible for either. And of course, some persons who were a part of the crew oftentimes find themselves on the what went wrong column. And that, of course, over time breeds a bit of discontent. Some of those persons were voted off the board at different points during the course of our history and may have harbored, negative sentiments because they were voted off for not performing at the level that was expected. Others were taken out of temporary positions they were assigned to because they were only acting, and later on we adjusted based on performance and so on, so they might not be happy. Others were losing power. For example, one of the persons had a lot of power early when we were small, and as we grew bigger now, and you can divvy up the work among people, then you have proper checks and balances, and you have separation of powers. So persons begin to feel vulnerable and feel as though they're being emasculated, and so that may have spurred some actions. Then there are others now who seem to be more of a plant per se. So their actions were covert and focused on building information to lead a particular agenda. One of those agenda was the treasurer stating a long list of things that he saw as a problem. And my question to him in the public, because he never brought these things to the board, they were never brought to the board. So the board didn't know that the treasurer felt that there were these problems, and he didn't bring them to me. So I didn't know that the treasurer thought that there were these lists of problems, but he brought them to the public and said, there are these lists of problems in an attempt to undermine my credibility. Things, for example, one of them is that we use all of our bank accounts except one are personal bank accounts. As you know, the commercial banks have not given us an account after 10 years of trying. NCB has declined us. Scotiabank has declined us. JMMB has declined us. Jamaica National has declined us, and so on. We have one credit union bank account with a small bank called the PC Bank, but they're so small that they're inconsequential. You have to walk in physically to do a transaction. They still use the old passbook. So, that's not really going to work for most people to do anything. So we use PayPal, which, people send money to us from overseas through PayPal. That's in my wife's name. She donated the account to the organization because they did not have a bank account. So we have used that over the years. Another account, a Scotia bank account, is in my name because we can't get a bank account. And again, my wife donated one of my accounts, so we no longer use it for my personal transaction. It's given over to the organization. Now, the entire board knows about this and approves this, so that is no surprise to anybody. And we have also publicly shared this information before. But when you're in a friction like we are now, when people hear it for the first time in some cases and the way it is said, it causes aspersions and create the impression that there's impropriety. And the treasurer made a point of so presenting it. And so I had to ask him if he brought any of these concerns to the board. The answer is no, he couldn't answer it on Unstoppable TV. Have you brought any of these concerns to me? No. In fact, the treasurer, in being in office for almost, let's say 8 months, during the 8 months period, the treasurer has not once sat down with me to discuss the finances of the organization. I have to be pushing to say, produce financials. I have to be pushing to try to get a meeting with the treasurer. But it seemed as if he was busy building a dossier of concerns, but not sharing them with me or openly with the board. I don't know if he did it privately, but not openly. And as you know that that's not the way a treasurer functions. You have to be in consultation with the president, and you also have to bring matters to the board if you have concerns. You don't bring them to the public. But the goal was to discredit me, and unfortunately for me, and unfortunately for him, the Jamaican people were a lot more smarter than that. So both Jamaicans in the diaspora and locally have demonstrated tremendous support for me, which overwhelmed their attempts to discredit me and push me out of the movement. So the plot has failed. And Joseph Patterson and the UIC continues to stand even stronger than we were before.
I really appreciate you bringing that to the audience's knowledge this evening. Again, you're being heard all over the diaspora. We are keeping a close eye on this historic movement in Jamaica, and it's sad that I'm gonna say that I'm not surprised, Mr. Patterson,
Me
and
neither. I'm not.
I guess you're not either. And you might just change the alert level of alert that you work
Absolutely.
under or function under, but and it probably won't be the last, because if
No.
you cannot get a bank account, then it's going to be so easy for somebody to take money and come sit there like they're genuine and be playing a role. So you know
Mhm. Yes,
it's one of those,
absolutely.
it's going to be one of those chapters of this journey for you. And not that I want to get too much of a personal feedback to this move, to what's
Mhm.
happening, but it sounds like one of the issues, that very issues that you're trying to tackle in terms of accountability and transparency.
Mhm.
And here goes your own treasurer trying to do you in, huh?
Yeah, the good thing though is that the treasurer and others, because it's not just the treasurer, he was probably a key ringleader.
Mm-hmm.
But the whole thing proved the resilience of the UIC because very quickly we're able to prove that all of these things were unfounded. Now, of course, because of the way people talk and innuendos and dropping of words, it does create concerns. But I have the overwhelming support of the candidates, the overwhelming support of members, overwhelming support of just supporters looking on, because they know and they can see that we're a very credible organization. They know the fight we have gone through. We have gone through 10 months of battle with the Electoral Commission of Jamaica when they tried to prevent us from becoming a party. We have battled with the banks. We have been very transparent from day one to let people know exactly what was going on with our bank accounts. So even if you go on our website and you go there, you see a disclaimer that tells you and send money, but please know here's why it is this way. So this has been there. So we have covered our bases. The treasurer was a bit careless in his approach. He tried to take me down, but he was careless. If he had paid attention, he would have seen that it can't work. For example, why didn't you bring these issues to the board? That's very basic. Let's get that into the minutes of the meeting to show that you as treasurer, being a CPA, because he's a CPA, being a CPA, you as treasurer have gone into the books, you have looked at stuff, and you have brought issues to the board and say, here are the issues. And then the board now would respond. Let's say there's a problem, they'll launch an investigation, and that would have been recorded, and everything is there. And you'd say, okay, Mr. Patterson was culpable or not, and so on. But since he did none of that, he has no case. You can't be treasurer and not bring these matters to the board. You can't be treasurer and not bring, for example, he has never done a budget. All the budgets that are done for any of the activities were done by me because he was negligent in his duties. So I have had to always be pitching in. My wife and I, we are the backbone of this organization. No matter what is done, when the last man standing at any event to make sure it's done properly is me and Mrs. Patterson. We do the executive work and the work at the bottom, anything that you say. So we're not afraid to roll up our sleeves and get in the gutter and sweep it if necessary. That's the kind of leadership we have provided. And so it's uncontested. Nobody can test my leadership because of the way I've led this organization. I am strong, I am detail oriented, and I'm not afraid to do anything at all to make the organization work as long as it's legal and it's moral and ethical.
I'm sure that a movement like this, because of its uniqueness and the historical context within which it falls, is eager to find good people, is eager to find the right qualified candidates to hold
Yes.
important positions.
Yes.
Is there a recruiting process? If I wanted to be a member of the UIC, if I said, Mr. Patterson, I love your movement, I see what's going on, how do I become a member? Is there like a background look at me? And what's that process like? Because as someone
Absolutely.
said, it looks like you got infiltrated. That's from a viewer saying, I think his party was infiltrated, but I've been following him and it appears to be open and accountable. So
Yeah, man, we're always going to be susceptible to infiltration because, you cannot tell a person's moral gravity, even if they have good credentials on paper. Many persons have passed through this organization who are highly educated, very respectable on paper, but in terms of their ability to actually perform or their willingness I'll give you an example. One of the persons who sought to undermine me is a young lady who was previously a VP with responsibility for finance herself. She was responsible for the finances herself. So when she criticizes it, in fact, she didn't. On one of the programs, she tried to go at length to say, no, you can't touch Joseph when it comes on to the finances of the organization because he's very meticulous on this. She said that on the Way Lonesome show. But that young lady, what I noticed with her, when she was on the board, she was less active than she is now in trying to tear me down. Like, so she worked very hard now, but on the board, you'd have to be pushing to get things done. So it's not that she wasn't competent and capable. While on the board, she wasn't demonstrating the competences and capabilities you want to see. But off the board, I have noticed her and others have been very meticulous and very, powerful in trying to undermine me and by extension the organization. So a person can come with good credentials, you see, but it doesn't mean, Mr. Hall, that they will perform at the level expected. So also jealousy, a person can come in and say, boy, me look for Mr. Patterson after him the brighter than me. How come him to build
we
this
can't
one?
do
Guys,
everything. Yeah.
yeah, we can do it, we do. Because what happens? When you get comfortable with a person, they say what they say now, see me and live with me are two different things, right?
Yes.
And familiarity breeds contempt.
Right.
So sometimes you might, you get to know it. And you say, but we used to think him as some big messiah. I come down, our ordinary little boy and stuff, And so you think, no, maybe I can be president. And by the way, nothing is wrong with a person aspiring to be president. The problem is, instead of aspiring to be president, aspire to do the mission. It's the mission that drove me, right? It's the mission that drove me to do what I did. And in the process, I am the president, I am the founder, but it's not to be president or founder that drove me. It's the mission. And if you let mission drive you, then in due course, you'll find yourself in the right position, whatever that is, because I'm not going to be president forever. But when you try to force the issue, that's where you might get into some problem, eh? And you might end up losing more than you bargained for if you just bide your time, do the work, focus on the mission, and let it come to you.
Respect the vision too. You had a vision.
Respect, of course. Yes.
Respect your vision. I mean, I don't care if I think I'm smarter than you. I mean, if I join your movement, I have to respect your vision. And if I'm not committed to that, then I should go about my business. But such is the nature of life. I would
Yes.
like for you to share with us. Yeah, Nicole says open and honest answers, very transparent about the growing pains of the UIC. Okay. All right. Now, just share with us some of the things that's going on in terms of the movement and working your way towards even greater recognition.
Sure. So first of all, let me answer a part of the question you asked earlier, which was how do we recruit? So the process we follow now is it's very simple. We have a recruitment director who when candidates or applicants go on our website and sign up, say that they'd like to be a candidate, for example, give us their name, address, and some other vital statistics, then this person would contact them, help them to go through a series of steps, including watching some key videos to understand their philosophy and so on,
Right.
taking a basic test, and then he passes them on to the the parish manager, who then interviews them with another person. And if the interview was successful, they then recommend them to the VP. The VP for the county, because we have three VPs. If your parish falls in the county, the VP then reviews the package and say whether they approve or not. If the VP doesn't approve with the recommendation of the parish manager, it comes to me for a secondary review. If I review it and find that it appears to be okay, then I will question the VP and question the parish manager and possibly even interview the candidate just to satisfy myself. Other than that, it would have stopped at the VP level and it would be approved, and the person then is placed in the respective division or constituency that they're going to run in. So, we look at your police record, look at the background check, how, what we hear about legal issues, check their Facebook pages, check their former employment and stuff like that. It's not perfect, but it's what we could afford to do at this point. We're going to step it up a little bit more, even now. In terms of where we go from here, right now we have been going from constituency to constituency to do workshops or seminars or just meet and greet with our candidates in different areas. We have a big program that we launched for March 22nd. You remember I was arrested on September 22nd. So March 22nd will be the 6 months anniversary of my arrest for standing up for the rights and freedoms of the Jamaican people. So on March 22nd, we're going to take to the streets again, but this time in a different way. We're doing what we call a One Jamaica Walk, where we're encouraging people to look at creating a unified Jamaica, so unity, liberty, and living healthy. You might recall that those three things came on a significant attack over the last 2 years. We were being pushed to be divided into those who are injected versus those who are not injected. Historically, we have been divided into one party or the other. Even classism has been a form of division in Jamaica. So the UIC wants to impress upon the Jamaican people to come together. Let's get rid of the class barriers. Let's get rid of the partisan barriers. And of course, let us not embrace the injection barriers that they're trying to implement. So unity. Then there's liberty. We want to encourage the Jamaican people to realize the importance of protecting our personal sovereignty. So protecting individual liberty, human rights and freedoms, and making sure that never again we allow a government or a system to bring those fundamental rights under attack. So freedom of speech, freedom of movement, freedom of choice. Let's protect that. And finally, during the last 2 years, our health was challenged. We realized that we weren't maintaining our immune system as good as we should. We realized we may not have understood how important it is to eat right and exercise and take care of this God-given body of ours. So we want to encourage Jamaicans to return to our roots, understand our herbs again, understand how to eat properly, how to live properly. And one part of that is just getting a 1 hour walk every day, if possible. So we call this the 30-day, 30K steps challenge. So for 30 days, we'll be walking. We'll be walking for 30 days, 1,000 steps a day minimum to get you to 30,000 steps for the month. And we believe if you do this for 4 weeks, you're forming a habit. So we're going to have a marching band and all that kind of stuff. And we'll be going from Kingston Parade to some key points in the city of Kingston and across the country.
Wow. Great. I tell you what, share with us how we those who would like to donate to this movement, how they can do so. I'm pretty sure some of our members of our audience might want to donate. And
it's funny.
Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned donate. During this whole internal issue that we had, and you saw it being played out on social media, would you believe that our donations doubled?
Doubled?
Yes. People
Wow.
said, people wrote and said that, listen, we're going to double my donation to support Mr. Patterson, the UIC, because they are trying to push out the man. So while they meant it for evil, it turned out for good. Now watch this carefully. My name is Joseph. You know how powerful that name is in the Bible? Mm-hmm. The name Joseph. Yes. So Joseph was a little fellow, and I learned this in Sunday school when I was like a boy. And my teacher said to me, she said, that name you have is powerful. And she told me the story of Joseph. So Joseph was thrown into a pit by his own brothers.
Yes.
His own brothers tried to get rid of Joseph. All right? Yeah. And Joseph turned around to be their savior. You understand? I'm not saying I'm anybody's savior, but I'm saying, look how them throw Joseph into the pit. And Joseph come out and actually save them and become the governor of Egypt. Now, our donation increase. Anybody who wants to donate, just go on our website, uicjamaica.com, and you will see the button that says donate. You click on that button and you can donate through various means. You can donate through the PayPal account using your debit card or your credit card or your PayPal account. You can donate directly by wire transfer to the Scotiabank that's provided. You can donate by walking into the PC Bank and doing it over the counter to UIC Jamaica account, or you can send we call it now Western Union or one of those money transfer things. Just call us at the number that's provided 293-0812. That's 293-0812, 876-293-0812. And we'll give you one of our staff who can receive a payment from you if you so desire. So a number of ways to contribute to the UIC. We welcome all donations, and guess what? We provide audited financial statements at the end of each year that shows you exactly how all your monies are spent, and all donors are qualified to receive a copy of the audited financial statements each year.
Great, great. I will wrap up with a quote from a listener. This is very hard work you're doing, Mr. Patterson, and I'm so glad that you have committed to providing a viable option for people who really want to see positive change in Jamaica, end quote, from a listener and viewer.
Thank you.
Nicole Sidan. So, on that note, I continue to wish you the best. Thank you
Thank you very
for
much.
allowing the platform to keep those who have the best interest of you and Jamaica at heart able to hear what's going on. And please do feel free to reach out, and we'll be happy to share information. In fact, our motto is where information meets music. So, Mr. Patterson, thank you. I'm pretty sure it's clear in everyone's mind what has happened. And like you said, your donations have doubled. I'm sure the sentiments have grown stronger because
It is.
when the going gets tough, the tough gets going.
Tough gets going.
Keep it,
Wonderful.
keep
Thank
it
you
going.
so much, Wayne. A pleasure speaking with you. I look forward to doing this again. All the best to you and your listeners.
You likewise. Take care and thank you.
Take care.
All
A
right.
pleasure.
Okay.